The United States is 30,414,521,000,000 dollars in debt. And that number is never going to start decreasing. It's only going to increase at a very rapid pace, especially with the amount of money we've been giving out in stimulus. Trillions of dollars thrown out to people because of the virus, and trillions more to try to make the earth go green. What does this mean? Well, it means a lot of things. One, we're screwed. Two, we're screwed. And three, we're screwed. I have a question for you. Do you trust the banking system? If yes, explain why in the comments below, and if no, explain why in the comments below. Something very disturbing happened recently, and it really made things a lot more dangerous for us all. What is that? Well, a global situation happened, exposing how broke the United States really is. We don't have trillions of dollars to throw out, and whether candidate A, B, C, D, E, F, G wanted to win that election, they had to throw out that $1 trillion stimulus word. We are trying to get ourselves out of debt by replacing it with more debt. You know what that's like? It's like trying to pay off a credit card with another credit card. It's going to catch up, and it's going to be very, very, very serious when things happen. The dollar has lost 98% of its purchasing power. And no, not 97, no, not 99%, 98% is a literal number. And 44% in the last 20 years, things are getting bad. What does this mean? Well, there is no solution. We're way too deep in the hole. All there is one alternative, and that is to protect your wealth into something that holds its value, that stores its value, which is silver or even gold. Now, it's funny because banks know the situation we're in, but for some reason, banks are forgetting to focus on gold and silver, the main thing that determines a country's wealth, which is how much gold they have. And yes, if you're going to determine a country's wealth on how much gold they have, let's apply that same principle to a person-to-person basis, Silver Slayer. So you're saying, even though that guy next to me has X amount of dollars in his bank account, I'm more wealthy since I'm the one that has precious metals. And if you want to be technical, regarding how we determine a country's wealth, then yes. Now, there's a show on Netflix called Money Heist. I highly recommend you watch it. But regardless, they plan to rob the Bank of Spain, not for the cash, but for the gold. And they successfully do so. They melt the gold down, and since the vault floods with water, they figured out a way to melt it down and shoot it through the pipes or whatever. But the whole point is that they successfully rob all the gold. And what happens when you think people found out that all of Spain's gold is gone? Spain collapsed within minutes. Stock markets all plummeted. Spain was taken over. Just like that. And that's because Spain's wealth was all determined on how much gold they have, not how much cash they had in the vaults. The same thing, and that's the real situation of the real world. That's what's so dangerous about them not focusing on gold. And it's funny because silver was our first money, right? But silver nowadays isn't even deemed money to them. It's a commodity. Now let's take a look at this article titled, "Are Banks Forgetting About Silver to Focus on Gold?" We already know that's the case, but this article covers a lot of numbers from the COMEX and it gives a lot of insight. So, delivery volume for silver on the COMEX has dropped to the lowest level in months. Are banks ignoring silver to focus on gold? And it makes a lot of sense. I mean, anytime there's economic uncertainty, anytime there's been gold confiscation, right? I mean, several times throughout history, countries have literally made the people turn in their own gold to them to protect the country, since gold is what deems them wealthy or not. But regardless, it makes sense right now, especially with everything happening. It makes sense. The weird part is that the COMEX is so complex, and when you're trying to determine if someone's going to turn in a contract into physical delivery or not, because 9 times out of 10 they don't, if all of those deliveries were turned in, the silver shortage would be exposed, because we don't have enough silver. There literally isn't enough silver in circulation for all of those contracts to be fulfilled. So The analysis focuses on gold and silver physical delivery on the COMEX. Recent delivery month. Silver is wrapping up April, which is minor month contract on the COMEX. Delivery volume has dropped to the lowest levels in at least a year. The chart shows, or below shows, that 1,343 contracts have stood for delivery with only 6 remaining in open interest. Now here's a historical deliveries for minor months. We're talking about 2,987 in April of 21. And yeah, it's really low right now. We're talking about 1,943. So part of the low delivery volume of this can be attributed to smaller than average number of net new contracts. These are the contracts that open mid-month and stand for immediate delivery. I never really understood why people invest on the SLV or the PSLV. That's completely contradicting the whole reason why we invest into silver and gold and precious metals in general, because it's tangible. It has intrinsic value within itself. No matter who says that 1 ounce coin is worth what is irrelevant, because the value is the 1 ounce inside of it, not the spot price, not the price tag attached to it. Saying of the stackers, if you can't hold it, you don't own it. So investing on the COMEX, you might as well just invest into the stock market. It's the same thing. It's digital. You want to invest into things that hold value within itself. Just like if you don't trust banks, then why would you keep your money online? You want to keep your wealth in your own possession, because then you're in complete control. If you're going to invest digitally, you might as well go into crypto, because at least that is also going against the grain of the dollar. Hence why the feds, hence why governments don't want you investing into gold and silver. They want you investing into stocks, things that are pegged to the US dollar. When you invest against the grain, you're a threat. Silver and gold, that's a threat to the US dollar. Hence why the dollar index and the price of gold and silver are directly negatively correlated. When the dollar index is down, gold and silver is up, and vice versa. Completely polar opposites. Completely polar opposites. Just like crypto. Crypto is decentralized. The banks are centralized, meaning there's one central system, and that's kind of the reason there's so much, well, that is the reason there's so much corrupt, shady stuff behind the scenes, is because it's centralized. Decentralized platforms mean everyone controls the market. If something wants to change on the blockchain, they have to vote. Nothing is behind the scenes. It's all public, right? Every transaction ever made on the blockchain, anyone can see. That's why JP Morgan got caught buying millions of dollars in Bitcoin right after they called it a scam and shot the price down thousands of dollars. They got caught because the blockchain stores everything. Crypto and gold and silver are very similar in that fashion, that they are going against the dollar and that you are in complete control. On my Bitcoin wallet, on my cold wallet, nobody can get into that. Only me, because you can only log into one wallet at a time, and that wallet's stored offline, right? So unless you have the 12-word phrase and you get into my computer, know the 12-word phrase, also the private key, you're in complete control. There's no other way to put it. So if you're going to invest digitally, you might as well just go to crypto. There's benefits, diversity is key, but I recommend the physical precious metals. That's the safest, smartest investment. Now, if you're not as patient and you want to go into something else, then yes, you can make profits on the side with crypto and then reinvest the profits into precious metals, which I'm sure a lot of you do. But regardless, you got to invest into things that make sense. Stocks don't make sense. I can name 10 reasons why stocks won't do good in the next 10 years. I can name 10 reasons why gold and silver will do good in the next 10 years, right? You got to be realistic. And anyone that's going to debate or argue that, they're all theorizing. We're looking at actual information, right? Investors make strategic decisions based off information. We're given the information. We know what's going to happen, and we know what that's going to do to the price of silver. It's a no-brainer. It's common sense. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. USDebtClock.org is this site I showed. The national debt's at $30 trillion. If you want to look deeper into it, it shows a lot of stuff. It shows per citizen, which is $91,000 per taxpayer. their total spending, the budget deficit. It even goes down here, the price of silver. This part down here is really interesting. So dollar to silver ratio since 1913 is $2.60 an ounce, and then the dollar to silver ratio now is $2,476. Wait, Silver Slayer, silver is not $2,476 per ounce. They're talking about without all the BS and all that. This is what it should kind of be, but not. It's kind of hard to explain. I actually made a video explaining it, but I don't want to go into it right now because I'm trying to wrap this video up. But it even shows how many U.S. millionaires there are, which is 22,165,135. Living in poverty, 39 million. Wow, this is really interesting data. U.S. bankruptcies, there's 497,000. Medicare enrollees, 63. Wow, that's some really interesting data down here. I didn't know it showed all of that as well. Food stamp recipients. Wow, interesting stuff. Maybe I could dive a little deeper into this. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. If you thought this video was 1, educational, 2, informational, 3, at least entertaining, make sure to hit the like button. I post daily videos. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.